Hey, little ShakeTube video here. I'm reading Hamlet at the moment, and just the opening, very opening bit where Hamlet's father, Hamlet Senior, his ghost appears on the scene, and Horatio and his fellows are kind of speculating on like, what does it mean that this ghost has appeared? What does this mean? Um, there's something of like, is this an ill omen? Is this something, it's a ghost that's come to warn us that something bad is about to happen, to like, speak, tell us, like, is this like about this is like he is Denmark in a way, or he was Denmark. He was the head of the state of Denmark, so he's Denmark. Is he warning us about, an attack from young Fortinbras, Norway? That is happening. um or what's up, what's up. And I was just thinking about, like, the supernatural in Shakespeare, in what's the point of supernatural at this time. um you know in our society today, a ghost is used in a particular way, and it's usually kind of more of it's kind of a fantasy trope at this point. It's one of those things of, if you're an educated person and you start talking about how you see ghosts, people might think you have a mental illness, or people might just think you're being silly, gullible, uh, not scientific. Yet, at this point, do witches? I'm thinking about this because of Hamlet. There's Banquo's ghost. There's the witches. There's Hecate, Hecat, Hecat, Heka, Heka. All these kind of evil spirits. You get something like the Tempest, where you've got, Caliban, you've got the Ariel, you've got the spirits, and dramatized on the stage. And like, are these just used as theatrical constructs, or would people see them as more literal manifestations of the day? Um, Something like Hamlet, especially Banquo's ghost is like, is this like a manifestation of Hamlet's guilt for having murdered him, having had his friend murdered? Is it like a psychological state? And Or, you know, how much is it a psychological state? How much is ghosts are the kind of the language and the thing that people use to express that um, the psychology before psychology. Um, and there's definitely seems to be a thing in Shakespeare of, you know, even if this, there's going to be a question: is this is this a ghost of Hamlet's father, or is this some malign spirit who's taken on that shape to mess things up for Hamlet, for the people around him? It's interesting. Like, Banquo's ghost is only seen by Macbeth, and so that's where you kind of get into, like, is that just like a guilt thing for him, that he's the only one who sees it? There's some productions of it where they don't actually have an actor come on and portray Banquo's ghost. They have just the people around, reacting to Macbeth, who is reacting to something that he sees, but that nobody sees, not even the audience sees, giving it much more of a psychological feel than if you dramatize it on stage as a person. Now, in Hamlet, uh, multiple people see this ghost. So, you sort of have to say, by the reality of the characters of this play, ghosts exist. It's like a horror movie where, you accept that ghosts or demons exist in this horror movie. Even if you might not believe it in real life, it is something that is real for those characters. And this Hamlet's ghost is real for the people on stage. Um, Now, it'd be interesting to see when we get to the conversation between Hamlet and the ghost. Is that just between Hamlet and the ghost? Because then it's like, is this Hamlet projecting his own worries, his own concerns on this apparition that everyone can see? So who's constructing what here? Um, there's definitely a thing of these are otherworldly, supernatural, supernatural things that are either above nature or manifestations of nature, and are kind of strangely amoral, like like I think about like the Greek gods being amoral. They could come down and wreak horrible havoc. Murder, rape. Uh, Gods were not a good thing that for human beings to come in contact with. Human beings more likely than not would get horribly damaged by gods who would have they don't have any of the morals or any of the compunctions that human beings might have in the same situation. And indeed, you know, you can quite argue that this Hamlet's interaction with this ghost is either a representation of Hamlet's growing paranoia and thoughts of like, hey, my father's been murdered and I'm going to do something about it. Murdered and going to do something about it. Um, or yeah. So yeah, it's so I'm interested in the supernatural, both how you get the sense that maybe it's been written to for his contemporary audience, but also how I react to it as a contemporary viewer of the work, a reader, and or audience member of the work. I'm just reading Hamlet this time, I think, but I've also watched it on stage, and it's like you believe in the ghost I believed in the ghost in those scenes there when it was portrayed on stage. So yeah, I'll that's what I have right now.